The relationship with Balayya and this channel is of irony, sarcasm, and pure jokes. The incident that happened between Balayya and Anjali, however, in the live event of Gangs of Godavari shocked me. For some who have followed Balayya and his abrasive nature off camera, were not even in the slightest bit surprised because they have seen this behavior countless number of times. Even though Balayya has become a regular feature on the channel in the Matlab Kuch Bhi episodes, where either he is defying physics or romancing women half his age, I think this particular incident compels me to have a serious discussion with all of you that is desperately needed. Beyond the jokes and the criticism we do for regressive and problematic content in movies, it is this incident, the organic cheers of the audience following the push that is reflective of the public that lets their demigods get away with the worst behavior, and what eventually Anjali has to deal with following the online backlash that compels me to have a more serious tone regarding the problem in the film industry that most people don't want to talk about. With everyone who is not privy to Telugu cinema and the celebrated family lineage that Balayya comes from, one saw many tweets asking about the man when this video went viral. The likes of Hindi TV actors and a reputed filmmaker like Hansal Mehta expressed their disgust at the incident and were subject to online trolling for calling the same out. What I've come to realize with social media, especially a platform like X, is that sarcasm definitely is not the language most understand, as after this incident, people were trying to cancel me for this tweet, not realizing that it's ironic or have any context about how we speak about Balayya and his movies on this channel. I think what has also somewhat desensitized the Telugu audience from antics such as this is because the same man would say something as problematic as this at a public event.
కొనుగోలు పాత్ర వరకే నేను చేయగలుగుతాను. అమ్మాయిలు అంటే పడమంటే అట్లా ఊరుకుంటారు మా ఫ్యాన్స్, ఊరుకోరుగా. అమ్మాయిలు ఎంత పడాలంటే ఊరుకో, అమ్మాయిలు ఊరుకుంటారంట. వెళ్ళి ముద్దను పెట్టాలి, గవర్నమెంట్ చేసేయాలి అంతే. కమిట్ అయిపోవాలి.
Being the special guest of the event for Gangs of Godavari, Balayya was found having several discussions with the cast. When stepping on stage with them, noticing the mark for the center of the stage, Balayya pushed Anjali, leading to her getting momentarily startled, laughing it off, and then giving a high five to Balayya. There are two arguments that become increasingly evident regarding this instance, and a topic that seems to be not understood by many. One argument that I resonate with is that this is no way to act with anyone in the first place. I know in the truest sense that a Hindi film actor would be getting cancelled left, right, and center for a similar act. The horrifying debate makes you think, if the actors on camera are so brazen with the way they physically push a woman, then what must they be like off camera? The second argument, which is essentially the defense, is that Balayya and Anjali share a friendly dynamic and banter together, so it's almost like a friend nudging you, something that the producer of the film, Vamsi Garu, wanted to convey.
విశ్వకు మీరు మాట్లాడుకుంటారు అనుకోండి, మిమ్మల్ని జరగమని నేను చెప్పే మీరు వినలేదు, విశ్వకు మీకు మంచి రిలేషన్ ఉంది, క్యాజువల్గా వెనక్కన్నారు, అది జరిగింది అక్కడ.
What, however, is the worst part of the entire incident is what Anjali has to go through. She is in the most awkward situation as such an incident is leading to her getting scrutinized. Posting about the event, which seems like the most curated statement to save face and ease the drama, Anjali had to, and I say had to with great emphasis, say that her and Balayya's dynamic only warranted such an act. I saw many people complain about Anjali's reaction. Why is she laughing after such an act? And what people don't realize is the complex situation she is in at a public event for her own movie. A woman is so conditioned not to inconvenience those around her, she simply smiles at the act of being pushed, knowing very well that if she made a mountain out of a molehill, that she would get the wrath of the loyal Telugu fan base of Balayya. This is a universal feeling that many girls can empathize with, where they either freeze or laugh off an awkward or uncomfortable situation, having the fear of not wanting to enrage or inconvenience those around them. Those who hold positions of power and call the shots of casting often get away with the most uncalled for behavior, because those who are dependent on them for work would not want to ever become an activist in the process because they essentially want to be an active part of those same industries. So when a news article writes this headline stating Balayya pushes and Anjali thanks him, calling out Anjali on her double standards, it's grossly insensitive to put her under scrutiny for what was was clearly not her fault at all. And a post, let's be honest, everyone assumes she was compelled to post. Why didn't Anjali speak up and create a scene then and there? Can you imagine the pressure on her as all the cameras are rolling? So many thoughts must be running in her head. But we decipher in our head what's the ideal moral reaction, what Anjali should have been doing, and blame and shame the woman? I empathize with Anjali, especially regarding the way the media covered the incident, as it was not solely about Balayya and the gross incidents he himself is to be blamed for. This makes me also think about why women don't speak up. Why don't they name and shame these influential people if such a incident happens? I remember Radhika Apte speaking about the terrible incident that she endured during the shooting of a Telugu film. This of course did not fly well at all within the industry, but it seems like Radhika herself distanced herself from the industry after such a horrifying act.
One industry I've struggled the most with is Telugu.
Okay.
That industry is so patriarchal and so sort of male dominant, male chauvinist. I mean, it's unbearable.
I also have to say, of course, this is not a Telugu specific problem, because I am reminded of the Me Too movement and its effect on those called out. When Tanushree Datta called out the horrifying experience she had on the sets of Horn OK Please in 2008 with Nana Patekar, she was shamed and ridiculed for presenting the revered and respected artist in such a manner.
I can't believe it. This is happening all over again, and the same allegations of publicity stunt that were thrown at me 10 years ago are being thrown at me today.
Yeah.
I cannot believe it.
What came of it is momentary media attention and nothing else. So a woman does wonder, is the fight worth fighting? Several actresses spoke about Alok Nath and his misconduct when he becomes inebriated and angry on set. How this would be an absolute nuisance to deal with on the sets, but nothing materialized about the same. Some form of media attention, a projection by those in positions of power that they are distancing themselves from the actor, but as time passes by and the movement itself fizzles, nothing really materializes and a case of SA gets closed due to lack of evidence.
फिर भी क्या मुझे कल ही याद आया एक हादसा कि जब मैं NSD में पढ़ रही थी तब आलोकनाथ जी ड्रंकन स्टेट में मेरे कमरे में भी आ गए थे। मैं तब नई देहरादून से आई थी, तो मेरे लिए भी वो बड़ा भयानक सा वाकया था और मैंने उसको अपने सबकॉन्शियस में अंदर कहीं दबा दिया था। वैसे तो बहुत बढ़िया इंसान रहते हैं, लेकिन जहाँ शराब के इन्फ्लुएंस में ही becomes a different personality, but that is no excuse.
You look at a case like Sajid Khan, where several women came out and spoke about the director and his alleged creepy behavior. There was immediate action taken by removing him from the director's post of Houseful 4, and with the distance created, as if work has become dry for the director, now we see him give several interviews about his journey, come on Big Boss, and will presumably mark his return back to the movies with the title that was announced in 2022 but has since got no updates.
You know, he pokes his finger into my cleavage and he asks me whether, you know, he goes, ye real hai kya, he does that. And I was obviously shocked. I didn't know what to do. I was feeling humiliated. I realized I was in no position to sort of react.
So, we see a recurring feature of people being called out for their bad behavior, it taking a few years for them to assimilate again within the film industry ecosystem. Chinmay Sripada, a singer and dubbing artist, has been actively calling out influential people within the industry for their gross misconduct, and this has allegedly led to her losing a lot of work in the Tamil film industry. She is one of the few brave ones within the industry who openly calls out those who make use of their power and cross the line. What comes of the several incidents I have spoken about, however, is that it is sadly momentary outrage, a simmering silence as if there has been effective change in distancing from the artist, and everything slowly going back to how it originally was. This cyclical nature almost discredits the trauma one went through, compelling a person to feel what's the point of voicing one's grievances in a system that never wanted to listen in the first place.
You'll be sitting in a meeting, someone will say something so sexist, and you'll just shut up because you'll be like, you know what, I don't want to disrupt this.
Yeah.
It'll happen again, okay? And nobody will react, and you'll be the only one thinking it, and again you'll shut up. Yeah. And then the third time you start thinking, am I mad? Because nobody is reacting. No one is reacting, and you're so afraid to be that person that's like, again she started.